The discussion today is you are seeing all these news from the big corps firing people, replacing them with AI. Also, some countries involving AI actively. Sweden, for instance, the prime minister said that he was using ChatGPT to take decisions and lead the country. Will you accept an AI leader?
Probably I wouldn't.
So welcome guys to this improvised special, Halloween special. We are here like 5 friends of mine and we're discussing some topics about AI, and I told them that I was losing content just talking about this without recording it, and I want to involve you now or I want to record this conversation. So to give you some context, or what I had in mind about the discussion today is, so you are seeing all these news from the big corps firing people, replacing them with AI. Also, some countries involving AI actively, like Sweden, for instance. The prime minister said publicly that he was using ChatGPT to take decisions and lead the country. And also Albania included one of the ministers is an AI actually now. And so there is this movement going towards AI. And I wanted to know, you are all working in corporate, and I'm not there since 1 year or even longer because I was working for a startup before. And I wanted to know your opinion, right? What's your inside view about AI, for instance? So who wants to start? Let's start with Antonio. Antonio, what's your opinion about AI and this trend worldwide?
Well, it's clear that it's a disruptive technology, and we still don't know how far it's going to transform not only the way we work, but also the way we make decisions. Not only at the labor level, but also in many other circumstances, like even from a user very rough first level, like initial level. I tried the other day just to get a good diet, like rich in proteins, but balanced, but healthy, and just to give me a program of what I was supposed to eat on each meal without repeating, and so that I could have like an enjoyable meal and still like do it for a week. So, and I got a very nice table with all the 3 meals a day, every day a different one, composition, amount, etc. And that's like my private life, and that's transforming the way I then go shopping. So it's gonna make life much easier in one way. Of course, it has a lot of risks. It's a little bit scary because we don't know how far the transformations are going to take us, but it's going to make our life for sure easier in many ways. And the human being in history has been using technology from the very beginning just to make life easier, safer. So what's the price we're going to have to pay in the short term? We'll see. But I wish I was here like in 100 years from now to understand and to see how transformative it's been and how nice life might be with this technology being part of it.
You were saying that you use ChatGPT. Are you using ChatGPT or some other model?
I've tried a few of them, like ChatGPT, the Copilot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT is planning, because they are bleeding money, and they need to introduce probably ads to ChatGPT, and they introduce this checkout functionality where they include, so you can buy products directly from ChatGPT by just doing click. So you research, you get the results, and then you click to buy. If you do that with ChatGPT, this table that you were talking about, and suddenly people do like with Google now, that they pay to get well positioned on Google on the ranking. If they do in the future the same, some businesses, they do that same with OpenAI, and they get position on top, or maybe they don't even get position anywhere. They just get the results to buy the different meals that you get in this table directly in ChatGPT, and you can buy them, but it's always from the same people paying OpenAI to get positioned. What do you think? How is this going to affect you?
Well, that's already happening, isn't it? Like you've got the when you Google something, you get the ads of those who pay to be on top of the results list, and this sponsorized advertising. you already get that. So you're still going to have to be able to filter and or go through the results and make the decision yourself. At the end of the day, it's helping you to make decisions. The risk is that you just take whatever it gives you without you consciously choosing out of all the possibilities it will give you what's best for you or what you really want to do or choose or get. You mentioned before that some politicians are already using AI to make decisions. Well, I reckon, or I hope, that they're just reading what AI is telling them from a technical point of view, legal point of view, possible impact, and then they're making the decision themselves with all that information. That's at least what I hope that happens in the short term. If we just relax and say, "Oh, let the AI decide for me," no moral, no ethics, no remorse, nothing. Just let's blame it on
the most
on
convenient
them.
thing, right?
Yeah, let's blame it on AI. Let's just do whatever it says. Then, of course, we're going to be slaves of a new technology instead of the owners of it.
Let's ask Jose about this. Will you accept a AI leader? So let's imagine that now you're now living in Switzerland, and Switzerland makes a referendum, and they decide that they want an AI to become the president and leader in Switzerland. Would you accept that? Would you be willing to try that?
Probably just like answering right away, I wouldn't. And I think there are many reasons for that, starting with, so whenever you ask something to any AI, you get an answer that is kind of very convincing overall. And it kind of also validates what you're expecting as an answer, right? So let's say you want to know something specific about whatever domain. The answer that you get is going to be along the lines of your question, because this is what it does, right? It's based on the knowledge that is everywhere in the internet, and then kind of gives you something that may fit or may not fit what you are actually hoping to resolve, right? But above all, it's actually validating. And you can see that actually when you try to correct it, that actually reacts very often more than not, like, oh, you're right, I made a mistake, and kind of rephrases itself, right? So I think that this is a very weak, a very big weakness of the AI, right? So that's actually a big reason why it's probably a bad idea to have an AI to rule us all, right?
But aren't politicians in a way like that?
Well, you could claim that if you have a tool that actually grabs all the knowledge in the internet and you have to make decisions, it's going to be maybe having a much better picture than a particular individual, right? Even if a team of individuals. But it's true that in the case of politics, they have a broader vision than AI can get, because they've got all the state secrets, plenty of plans that they are just not fed with, right? Because that would be a huge threat for the country itself. So, of course, if it's an AI trained in the specific knowledge of the state, which is what I would expect maybe in that situation, that could definitely be helpful. But I still think that the direction that we are already taking today, which is having AI as a great support, but not as the final decision maker, I think it's actually probably the better way to go.
So you think the way to go would be to keep the politicians, but could be nice to include AI in their daily lives and decisions and researches and so on?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Let's ask now Miguel. Miguel, you are our best listener, right?
Yeah.
You are the most active one and always giving comments on YouTube. Thank you for that. And you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
Thank you for that as well. I mean, otherwise we will get extinct. And I wanted to ask you, we talked already in previous episodes about Gen Z being kind of in a crisis because AI is taking over all the entry-level jobs, right? We don't know when your kids are old enough to get a job. It's still a long way to get there, but let's assume that they're already there. What would be your recommendation if they come to you like that? I don't know what to do. What should I do with all the uncertainty that is happening right now globally?
Well, I'm probably not the most standard transparent in those things, because I honestly would only ask them to try to do something that they like. I really don't care, like the Swiss thing that my kids go to gymnasium or stuff like that. I really only want them to do something that they like, which is maybe not so standard. But I don't think there are things that scare me more than what they will do as a job. Like, for example, if I look at what Antonio was saying, one of the things that is very concerning to me is like the convenience of AI. For example, we were talking like, for us, it's hard to imagine like working for an AI boss or something like this. But I remember I had a friend in the university that he started working afterwards, and he was working in one of those big consultings, not the big four because it was a Portuguese one, but it was like maybe the biggest Portuguese one. And like everyone always had the thing about when you start working in those companies, you get the feeling that they kind of brainwash you. And he had a total different opinion about like actually how good was to be brainwashed by them, because you get trained and modeled in that way that it really is convenient to you. So if you imagine like you get validated by an AI, you get like kind of reporting to an AI in terms like you cross-validate and you get this sense of security and convenience that you don't really then even question things. And that's what Jose was saying, that you can just start believing these things. That is much more dangerous to me and more scaring than what they're gonna do, because I think I believe Jose said the same thing. Like they will actually be much more prepared than me, because they will grow with it. It will be normal to them. For me, it's probably not. It's going to be a more challenging aspect, but I mean, I don't know. It's going to be so far ahead, I think, or maybe not. But I'm not so worried with what. I'm worried that they will have the critical thinking of, can they grasp what is more than just like a model telling them.
Are you involving them in any way already with AI, making some games maybe with them?
We do books.
Books with
The
storybook?
storybook,
Nice.
Yeah, they like it a lot.
Yeah.
They like to, Daddy, can we do a book about, they want to be firefighters or pirates or...
That's cool. Did you find it from my LinkedIn or you found it out?
I found it from
Oh,
your...
nice.
No, actually...
I mean, helpful.
No, Jose put it in the WhatsApp.
No, Jose heard it from me.
But you put it in the WhatsApp. I read it in the WhatsApp. So...
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, let's ask Juan.
Yeah.
I don't have any kids. So
You don't have any kids.
I cannot speak about the books.
You are one of our most involved guests together with Mauro, right? So you have been in this podcast already quite some time. And you are the most involved in daily life, right, with AI. So what's your opinion about AI? What are your thoughts? I want to leave it open to you to decide what you want to talk about.
I think AI needs to be something that I'm aligning with Antonio, that is there to help us. So the way we should use it is always to improve humans' quality of life, not to decrease it. So when we are talking about all the concerns that AI might bring, we should always put human first. I think this is the most important part. I believe that the Copilot thing so far, having an AI that helps us, is the way to go. But we should never be, threatened by AI. And if this is gonna be the case, we are failing as humans.
Lately, a group of one of the greatest minds in AI and tech as well, they signed kind of like a agreement, I don't know how to call it, but they signed something stating that we are going too fast with AI and we should go a bit slower to adapt to it in some way. But it seems that now with all this, I don't want to say bubble because it's not clear if it's really a bubble or not, right? Like we didn't know in 2000, well, maybe in 2000 we knew already, but in 1999 we didn't know if internet was a bubble back then, right? Which doesn't mean that there is a huge future ahead of us because of this topic, but there could be a bubble. So all these minds, they stated that we are going too fast and that we should be going slower and maybe even regulating a bit more what's going on with AI. What do you think about that?
Then you listen to that in The Diary of a CEO, the podcast, the
I'm not.
godfather of AI.
No, I
Could
think
that
this.
be?
I think they signed this thing lately.
Yeah, and I mean, recently the godfather of AI, who studied actually AI like 60 years ago, mentioned that he raised his concern about AI being a problem for humanity to, I think it was 10%. I could be wrong, but something like that. So I mean, yeah, absolutely, there is a race like with any other technology. It was also in the dot-com bubble.
And the space.
Yeah, and that's, I think it's helpful. Like everybody needs to compete, and it's part of our evolution. Like we compete each other, and then we try to get better. But when the most the best brains in the world say that we should double check what we are doing, I think it's something we need to reflect upon.
Mm-hmm. So you think we should go slower?
I mean, I just listen to what the experts say. If they say we should double check what we are doing and try to put the guardrails that are necessary to control the technology, yeah, definitely.
What about regulations?
I think regulations is always something, it's a trade-off between speed of innovation and control of the technology. Again, I really think that regulation is needed. But I mean, at the end, it's something that goes beyond my opinion, right? I mean, here we have also the world competing, or big countries competing against each other to reach general artificial intelligence. So, yeah, I think we should start thinking as a world, but this is difficult. This never happened in the past. So
it's complicated because people in the US were saying, yeah, if we stop or we go slower, China will go ahead and be in front of us. And we cannot allow that, right? So at the end, it needs to be a global consensus. And I guess that's an utopia, right? That's impossible, I guess.
I don't know if it's impossible, but it seems difficult. Maybe, I think Donald Trump and Xi Jinping met 3 days ago. I don't know if they reached any agreement, but it seems far, yeah.
What do you think, Edu? Do you think this consensus, global consensus, will be possible?
No. It's a lot of BS in general. I mean, the regulation is a general point in time agreement between people that at that time have the kind of coordination of economic factors together. Recently, we had also Trump going back on the nuclear test.
Mm-hmm.
That was 40 years. Why? Well, this is again economics or political influence or whatever it is, right? So there was an agreement 40 years ago that was convenient at the time, the way of thinking. So whatever we may think right now of AI is not gonna probably last. So that I'm pessimistic.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's all about good or bad is economics and power, and usually the human is only realizing about bad things when it happens already. It's like we usually say like, hey, you need to let the kids grow, fail, and then they will realize, right? So you only realize when you fail.
Mm-hmm.
So I fear this is gonna happen the same, and gonna be too late or not, different question. But yeah, no, we are not gonna get there, and there are too many. I'm gonna be polite because we are on a podcast, but there are too many cogs in the place, right? So there are too many people that are wanting to show off. So there is the USA, there is Europe, Europe doesn't show anything. There is Russia, there is China, there is all these people that want to show off, right? So no, that no. But then I wanted to go back to one of the questions before about decisions, and I will say like AI is not ready for making decisions. As of today, it's mainly a information gathering, and maybe under some certain conditions, very regulated conditions, like if we look at Tesla and self-driving cars, something like that, you can take decisions because it's a very narrow position where you can decide go forward, backwards, stop, left, right. But when it's a moral decision or a future decision where you need to think for the next 10, 20 years, sorry, it's not there. So it is more gathering information. You can compile, it can help you taking that decision. But no, we are not there yet.
Do you
Definitely
think
not.
will we get there at some point?
I do doubt it as of today. Someday, definitely. When and how? We know Moore's law, or the other one that says that every duplication of the amount of products you reduce the price. At some point, you will get there, and you will say like, "Hey, I have enough compute power to say, yes, I can consider all the variables, that I can kind of do all the possible evaluation of the future and take the best possible decision." Then we should also talk about quantum and AI, because quantum progress now with IBM and also Google with the latest chips could be something, to explore thousands of possibilities at the same time, so you could evaluate which one is the better, and then maybe it's not just a stochastic or probabilistic outcome as LLMs, but maybe you have, gone there, test that, and there is the compute power for that, and then maybe, but that's not going to happen in the next, probably in the order of 10 to 100 years.
Do you think with quantum computer we will be able to achieve the so expected AGI, or do we need a change in some paradigm? Like maybe LLMs are restricted and they will not be able to achieve that even with quantum computer.
I'm not good enough with that, but the I think the mix of the two, right? So quantum will give you probably the possibility to evaluate millions, hundreds of millions of possibilities in parallel, right? That's the power of quantum. And then an AI that evaluates those together and reasons which one could be the best for whatever objective because we do not need to forget that AI as of today has an objective, right? So OpenAI may have an objective, and then you have something like Grok that has maximum truth, right? So if you put Grok with its maximum truth, and then you can evaluate now thousands of millions of possibilities in whatever 5 minutes, then maybe you have something, an AI AGI, that you can say like, okay, this is the path because I have evaluated all these possibilities, and this is the one that makes more sense. But I have my doubts, and that's not going to happen probably in, I will put at least 15, 20 years.
So you disagree with your friend Elon Musk, right? Because Elon Musk is saying that Grok 6, I think it's already 6, it will be already AGI.
It will probably be AGI in some areas, in some probably not fully convergent areas, maybe some narrow areas. I doubt that you can rely on that AGI providing reasoning for all the decisions that it may take. But this is a gut feeling. I'm not an expert on the field, so
it's all about speculation. It's fine.
I do believe that the power of gathering information is one of the advantages, right? If we go like, okay, let's go to the Roman area. You have this amount of information. You do this decision. Now you have 2,000 years after, you have all the knowledge of scientific experiments and knowledge, and then you take decisions based on that one. So you can decide, hey, I invest on rockets to the moon or something like that. So it's completely different. And AGI is going to be able to gather all that information, not only in one person, in something like that. So probably better decisions. But you are not having probably all the considerations.
Let's go back to Juan to ask him something. Like at the end, my personal opinion, we are missing this point in which the AI, we have reinforcement learning, but it's a different thing. But we miss the AI that can learn by itself different things, which is what we humans do to learn stuff, right? We have some common knowledge that comes with our genes, right, when we are children. And then by doing and learning, we gather all the knowledge that we have, right? So if we want to replace ourselves with some model that can replace us in every aspect, I guess we need to follow the same approach, that the model is able to take different topics and learn about them and improve itself. And we are losing this, so we are missing it. We don't have something right now like that, right?
No, I disagree. I think models can learn, I think models can learn from interactions with humans. basically based on the feedback that they receive from humans.
But they are not learning. I mean, the training data is already there, and they actually
No, they have their context window, and they can as well adapt
yeah, but they
their
don't
behavior.
But they don't put it. It's not part of their training data anymore, right?
No, I mean,
When you close the window,
but you can do continuous training as well. So there are already mechanisms enough to introduce contextual patterns into the model's behavior, and so the model can learn by kind of memorizing or putting in a memory the previous interactions they had with you. So in that sense, I mean, it's not the learning that we do have, but it's a piece of memory that they leverage every time they have an interaction with you to understand your patterns, your behaviors, your preferences, your personality, etc., etc. So in a way, the model can learn by summarizing the previous interactions that they had with a user, storing them in a temporary memory, and using them every time they interact with you again.
but in our case, it's more like general, right? We are training on the fly, right? Which they don't do. They just gather some information, they put it in some temporary memory, like you say, like some RAM, and then they use it for that specific user. But we humans, we are training constantly with all the information we gather. And right now, as far as I know, we don't have a technique or a model that can do that can it train itself by interacting already and put that data that is gathering in the training data.
Yeah, I mean, thing is like there are several layers in a model, right? You have the first foundational training that you do with raw data. Then you have fine tuning. Then you have continuous training. You have chain of thought, prompting engineering, etc., etc. But they are all valid techniques. So which one is the best? It depends on the use case. But you're right. I mean, they don't retrain themselves from the very beginning.
Which one?
Twin. I mean, I'm just thinking like NVIDIA's twin universe, Omniverse, or something like that. I mean, that is specifically, retraining themselves from the same models on the fly. I mean, the Omniverse is precisely that. You create a twin of, your company, and you put situations on the robots, and you learn what will happen if. So this is basically what you do as a human also, right? I mean, if you're a kid, you go around, you walk. Okay, if I take this step wrongly, I fell. Okay, so I learn not to do that. So this is exactly what the Omniverse is doing from NVIDIA, and I mean, you have Tesla also doing the same. You produced an environment computer only, where you kind of try to simulate the real physics that we know so far, and then you try all the possibilities, and that's how they're training, and that's kind of the Omniverse of NVIDIA, and they have spent millions on that. So sorry.
I mean that brings a very interesting topic, because from my point of view, because very often I've got the feeling AI could be very, very useful for developing science in all ways, like physics, uh, even other kinds of arts like architecture, or but there is a big limitation that even artificial generative intelligence, to my understanding, can reach. There is, and which is, you were saying a child falls on the street and then realizes, oh, I shouldn't have go that fast, maybe because I went over my own possible speed. That's kind of like physics. And still, the child might have a million different situations where he's going to fall again. So it's not that he didn't learn not to fall, it's just that in that specific context, in that situation, he fell again. In life, as well as in the universe, we see the range of possibilities is crazy, right? And we're talking only about physics. Now, we're humans, and the possible combination of human beings, human experiences, human backgrounds, it's limitless. And even then, we are sometimes, how would I say it? Like, we do things that are unexpected, and that's actually where I see, okay, That's so to your point of, yeah, there are language learning models and there are ways that we can reprogram maybe artificial intelligence, not only now, but probably in the future, to make the right decision or to calculate the statistics of what will be the best choice so that we don't get an undesired event happening. Still, still might be not like, might be just like this, like this curve tending to infinite, but never reaching infinite, or to zero, but never. No.
But that will be the same as humans, right? We never learn. I mean, it is said that we are the only animal that steps 2 times on the same stone, right?
Yes.
So I'm sorry, yes, but at the same time you fail again and again and again, and that's how you learn, right? And you evolve, and that's what I was saying. Like, there is these simulations, not only from one company, but there are from multiple. I mean, if you look again, Tesla with the cars, Tesla with the bot, NVIDIA with the I was mentioning before the name and now it's not coming, but anyway, the twin universe that they are creating also for companies, where they simulate all the possibilities of all the robots and the combinations, and they try to put there the physics of how to grab stuff, how to move, and what can happen. This is trying to learn. Then you go to reality, and reality hits you with a punch. That's it. But still, you go there and you go learning, and this is what I was trying to say. Like, you don't program the reality anymore. It's more a simulation, and you try to get all those possibilities.
Yeah.
And there are multiple models for that.
I'm actually quite curious because I studied actually this in university, but many years ago, and I don't remember. But one of the things I was like clearly hearing Antonio say, and it's true, like the kids don't learn. But worse is, I feel most of the times they don't even know why they failed. The thing is, like, how does the AI know which of the actual parameters was wrong?
But this is the thing. You don't need to. So the AI and even you as a human, you don't. So when you get up in the morning and you get out of bed, are you thinking how you move your muscles?
No.
No, because this is something that you have trained so many times that you know it works. Do you know how it works? No.
But still, accidents happen and people die in a domestic accident.
Exactly, and it's called an accident because it's out of the ordinary, right? But you don't need to know exactly why things happen. And we were, until 100 years ago, we didn't know why electricity worked the way it works. Still, it works, right? And right now, we don't know why black matter works, but we know it's or we assume it's there, right? We don't know how or something like that. You don't need to know that it happens like that, right? Or gravity. Do we know 100% why the matter? Probably most 90%, not the 100%. So the thing is, at the end, AI is basically a set of, correct me, Juan, if not, you are more expert than me, is a set of processes that have weights on different parameters that from an input you disperse, and at some point you get an output, right? So what you do is you try 1,000 things, 99.90 or 990 don't work, so level 0. The other 10, one works a little bit better, maybe it gets a 0.8, the other one 0.6, and then you continue, and then you try another 100,000, right? So at the end, this gets to a point. You go trying and trying and trying until you get a balance that at the end, the outcome is the best possible outcome for what you wanted. If it's that your robot walks, then you try to optimize for that. If you try to optimize for your robot being able to pick a glass and moving, you optimize for that. And if it's everything, at the end, you need to get those weights. But you're not always going to get that 100% right. And the robot doesn't care if you move this like this because I have 20 watts of power on my... no, it's just, it works. That's it.
I think the problem here is when you put AI in working in very deterministic cases where something critic is ongoing. Like, for instance, you don't have the possibility to have a margin of failure. Here, AI is not ready yet, from my point of view. Like, because every agentic AI or any, let's say, generative AI solution, we're not going to talk about traditional machine learning yet, but it's still a work. It still is the same. It's probabilistic. You have to give AI a certain room for autonomy. and in a certain room of autonomy, something unpredictable can happen. And if you need a system that needs to be 100% right, you don't want to GenAI yet there. I don't know what is going to happen in the future. And this is actually the first question that Ivan was asking before, in terms of security, in terms of how AI can represent a danger to the world. But at the moment where we are right now, yeah, it's probability. And probability has always, yeah.
Kind of related to that, and also I want to kind of refer to something that was discussed before about the growth of AI and the dangers that it may bring, or like this kind of international competition, right? Because there is these 2 points about AI, we need to progress with AI faster than the others, because otherwise the other country is gonna do faster, and that's bad for us. I think we also have enough experiences from the past of other technologies like nuclear energy, right? That because of progressing too fast, actually I would like to call it like that, because if you progress too fast but you don't implement the necessary security measures, disasters can happen, right? The thing is that yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's that's an unfortunate good example. And the thing is, we don't know exactly. We're not very aware of the bigger risks of AI, or we may have some guesses, but we don't really know until a disaster happen, and we don't know in which way may come, because for the first time in human history, we are dealing with a tool that surpasses us in capacity of verbosity, reasoning, and worst of all, validation, which may make us fall for tons of biases. And if something bad happens, it may be that it's kind of a domino social effect that can lead us to start making bad decisions, or to polarize society in a certain direction that we don't even realize, because it's just validating way too many people in one direction, and everyone falls for that tendency, and then unifies a thought maybe in one certain line of thought that could lead to a very wrong decision nationwide, for example, right? So.
Well, yeah, in that sense, I'm thinking about movies all the time, like as we talk, because indeed what you said is something I was thinking about before when he was talking. We are facing kind of like the same problem that or the same situation that we had with nuclear power. If you've watched the Oppenheimer movie, you probably know about that thing. At some point, they don't know. We don't control the nuclear power. It's new technology, getting the atoms together. And they don't know if it's going to actually destroy the whole world. So that's what we're facing now. It's the same situation. We don't know if it's going to escape our control and we're going to just destroy the whole world. At the same time, life is going on. So this is happening at the same time that other social changes are taking place. We see the countries running or starting another race for getting the first to use that technology, but also as a weapon. And we see at the same time the countries running to get more and more weapons, as if we were preparing for a general war. But the same time, but the same way we had in the 50s and the 60s, this Cold War with the fear of a nuclear attack and the total destruction of the world, it is very unlikely, or I want to believe.
You hope that.
I still want to believe in the human race and our politicians. It is very unlikely that, first of all, that we or that our leaders make a decision that might destroy the whole world in physical terms, like through the atomic war, but also might destroy humankind in the way that AI might do. And that's like another movie. That's the topic of another movie you probably know about, Terminator. That's what it is about. An artificial intelligence, Skynet realizes the most efficient way to treat human race is just get rid of it and just use their bodies to produce energy and feed the machines.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a mix.
I
think you mix Matrix with Terminator.
Well, no, but in Terminator is as well. It's a Skynet. Yeah, it's a Skynet using like
Was it using humans?
Not for energy.
Not for energy.
That was
Okay, not
Matrix.
for energy. Yeah, Matrix is using that. Okay. So at the end of the day, there are several risks, but to my understanding, the same way humans realized, okay, if we don't use responsibly the nuclear energy, we're gonna destroy humankind. And I don't think that humans in general, I don't think that there are leaders wanting to go that way. Hopefully, the same way, I don't think that, or I hope that we're not gonna use AI that way. And there was a third movie, but I might be confused as well. But my point is that at the same time, as he said, our children will be born in an age where AI is already there. When I was born, it was the year when the first Atari console was created. When our grandparents were born, there was no nuclear weapons. When their grandparents were born, there was no electricity. And electricity at first, and you might want to watch a Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr., this one of those. It's based on the time when electricity appeared, and it was seen as a weapon, and it was seen as a danger. And of course, it could be used, and it created new weapons and new dangers. But look at that. What would we do with that electricity today?
I mean, even calculators were a danger, right, for mathematicians and all that, right, back then. So, yeah. I only want to close up with one answer from you guys. It's just yes or no. Jose, are you positive are you positive about AI and the future with AI?
I'm very positive.
So yes.
Yes.
Antonio?
I got no idea, to be honest. I'm just at the same time I'm scared and concerned, and I think if we use it properly, yeah, I will be for it. Yeah, you can yeah. So
it's kind of yes. Kind of.
It's like
hopefully yes.
we cannot avoid it.
Hopefully
it's like,
yes.
more like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just to elaborate also, because my answer was very short. So just to say that... Right, yeah.
So this
that
happens with Spaniards, right? This is typical. You ask them for a yes or no, and they give you a whole Bible.
Yeah, fair. I thought that was the agreement, but yeah. No, so, I mean, I'm very positive because I think that if there is something that characterizes mankind is resilience. So I think this is a big change, but I think our specialization is actually to adapt to change. So I think we'll keep using it as a tool and actually managing it properly despite of the many risks.
So you reinforce the yes, your yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good.
Strong yes.
Yes. Miguel?
Well,
No yes or no. The Portuguese are the same as the Spaniards.
Yes, sorry. No, I would say not in my lifetime, but yes, but not in my lifetime. I think the road to be there is, I'm very pessimistic, but in the long run, I think Antonio says it's here, so it's not going to go away, so it has to be a yes.
So you're not scared about your kids?
No. Well, maybe my kids, but maybe not the generation after them.
Okay. Hopefully.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's another question. There will be a generation after your kids' generation. Juan, yes or no?
So in a nutshell, yes. But every revolution, like any previous one, will come with...
pain.
Yeah, will come with shaky.
Edu?
Technology in general is positive,
So yes.
but it's gonna be fucking pain.
And you trust that Elon Musk will lead us to the right way?
Not Elon, but someone that follows Elon, because Elon is gonna die before. But
Do you think so?
no, I mean
He has a lot of money.
yeah, but still, no. I mean,
Can be immortal.
honestly, I mean, you are asking because I'm in general supporter of Elon, but
Yes.
if I need to put an objective to AI, I think his objective with Grok, or at least the stated one, right, for whoever wants to conspire, which is a maximum truth-seeking AI. I think that is the right way. Mm-hmm. Any other commercial or whatever it is, or let's make America the best one, or make China, or make Europe, that is not going to be the right way. Mm-hmm. So let's make the most truth-seeking, I think is the best. That is the main base of science, and that's, I think, is the best way to do it.
Perfect. Thank you guys for your time. And
You give your opinion.
you want my opinion as well? No, I'm just just a podcaster here. Thank you, Edu. Now I need to edit that.
No. Answer. What's your opinion?
My opinion, I'm in a way, yes. I think it's going to be positive, but yeah, there will come with pain. I mean, we have already history, right? Every revolution was like that. Short term, a lot of pain.
But what is short term? Do you think our lifetime?
I think short term is changing now. It's like in the stock market, right? Like every time that there was a crisis, some kind of like a huge dip or something, it would last like years to go up again, right? And now it's like going down and up and down and up. It's very volatile. I think short term right now is less time than before. So maybe this time the short term is not 20 years. Like in the last revolution, I think it was 20 or 10 years. It was minimum a decade. I think here is going to be faster. The question is, how is the future going to look like? Because this is the first revolution. Because if you remember in the technology, so when the machines took over the industrial revolution, when the machines took over all the positions in the industry, like car industry, not all of them, but I mean the automatic ones, right? Like
we consider this still part of it.
no, but before, for instance, Ford started with humans building the cars, and now the machines can build the cars by themselves, right? Back then, those machines were not learning what we know by learning, right? They did just some automations, but they didn't learn. The problem is now we have machines that learn much faster than us. So if AI is going to take us from point A to point B, and then we need to adapt to point B and learn new things, but AI is learning them faster than us, and we cannot catch up with that learning, we might get in this infinite loop. And I don't know how that is going to look like in the future when we cannot catch up with our own creation, right? I don't know. That's kind of the concern I have. But yeah, let's see. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. So anyway, thank you guys. And yeah, talk to you next time.